Okay, so we have one last Christopher Nolan movie to review, and I'll be completely caught with Christopher Nolan reviews until Tenet comes out. So, we're here to review Nolan's most overshadowed film, and that movie is Insomnia. So let's get into it. What's going on, guys? This is your boy Joshua, Future Filmmaker 3940, where I talk movies, TV, and music. If you guys like to talk either one of those things, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified when new videos are up, when I go live, or when I post on my community tab. Otherwise, if you don't hit that bell, you're not going to get every single notification that will come. And also, be sure to follow all my social media links in the description box down below, because they are all down there. And if you want some money to my time, or you want some fan mail, you can DM me or email me privately, and I'll get back to you to do that. But other than that, let's conclude this small Nolan review series with my review for Insomnia. So Insomnia came out in the year 2002, and this is a psychological thriller directed by Christopher Nolan, and this tells the story of two Los Angeles homicide detectives investigating a murder in an Alaska town. One of them is played by Al Pacino, and he's sent there to investigate the murder of a teenage girl. And so what happens, he loses nights of sleep and he ends up killing the other cop, which I won't say where that scene takes place in, but forced into a psychological game of cat and mouse by the primary suspect, which is played by the late Robin Williams. Events escalate and the detective finds his own stability dangerously threatened. So that is the plot of Insomnia in a nutshell. When it comes to Insomnia, a lot of people say that this is Nolan's bad movie or Nolan's weakest film, but in terms of Nolan's filmography, as far as his overlooked movies, I think his most underrated film for me would be Interstellar. His most overlooked film will be The Prestige, but as his movie that just gets overshadowed and completely overlooked is Insomnia, and I don't really understand why. I guess it's because he's not really writing the movie, I guess, but this is a remake of the 1997 Norwegian film of the same name. And this is the only movie that Christopher Nolan has directed without receiving a share of one of the script writing credits, even though he did write the final draft of the script. This script was written by Hilary Seitz, but he came in at the last minute and wrote a final draft for this. And how this movie came to be was, after the success of Memento, a lot of people saw what he could do with Nolan would do with Memento, and they said, okay, we're getting somewhere with him. He has potential as one of the next big directors that's going to be talked about for a very long time. And so when it came to doing this movie was filmed over a 3-month period from April to June. And so this movie was filmed in Alaska, the opening scene, and the approach scene was filmed in British Columbia, and the Tide of Night Mule was primarily filmed. So a lot of this movie did come out in 2002 in May, and this movie was well received by critics, but even the original director really liked this film. But for some reason or the other, a lot of people overlook this film, and I think that if you're one of those people who kind of overlooks Insomnia, I would say after watching this, go watch this movie, because Insomnia is one of the best movies of 2002. And this was a rewatch too. So I rewatched all of these just to prep for reviews of this. So going off into everything great about this movie is that the way that the story plays out, again, this is a well done film. Christopher Nolan took this Norwegian film about a man who is basically on the run and basically sleepless, and his stability is out of control, and was able to do something good with it. He honored it, but at the same time he made this his own, and he was able to do the same exact things that he did with Memento and applied it here. So almost every movie that Nolan makes, he always does his little approach that he takes in his movies, and I gotta give credit to the guy. This movie does do a great job at re-examining the material. It's like a new production of a play that you just saw. It's not a complete retread like The Lion King in 2019 was, but it actually does enough different, and it comes to this story, and it comes to this actual material. Because again, this is based on Norwegian film. And not only that, I think what he accomplishes with this story is, this is a very hard-hitting psychological thriller that just kept you guessing, kept you wondering what's going to happen next. And with our main character being forced into this psychological crazy game of cat and mouse by your main villain, which 2002 was the year that Robin Williams played a villain in this movie and in 1 Hour Photo. But the way the events unfold and you try to find out, is this guy actually a murderer or such? I was sitting there watching this movie on the rewatch, just taking everything in, and with the script, I felt like the script was very, very good. I do love the way that it does play out, and the way that the story played out. This is almost close to 2 hours, so it's an hour and 58 minutes, and for the entire length, I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is just as great as I remember watching it on the first time I rewatched. This is actually my third rewatch, because I did see this back in 2016, and then I watched it again back in I watched it twice in 2016. But when it comes to this, I just I'm sitting there, and I'm basically intrigued on what is going on. I wanted to know what was going to happen next. And then you have the primary suspect that you get to know more about him, what his plan is, what he intends to do in this game of cat and mouse. And then just the twists and turns that hits is sitting there, you're sitting there like, okay, I know where this is gonna get even more interesting. But without a doubt, we have to talk about the performances in this movie, because the acting in this movie from everyone is solid. If you ask me, Al Pacino is one of the greatest actors working. He's a legend. The Godfather, The Devil's Advocate, even The Irishman from last year. Al Pacino always does a great job. His bad movies, he's had some misfires for show, but Al Pacino, the guy is a legendary actor, definitely one of my favorite actors. And his performance as a detective, Will Dormer, he's great. I love his performance. You can tell that he is scared for his life, but he's also trying to survive this whole game of cat and mouse that Robin Williams has planned for him. And that is what I really do appreciate when it comes to the performance of Al Pacino. He's scared, he's frightened, he's on the loose. He's basically how people are when you're not under medication, where you're sleepless or you're kind of losing your mind. It's kind of how we are a little bit in this current situation of the world. So I felt like I was in his footsteps. I feel like I wanted to get the information I wanted to know. But without a shadow of a doubt, Robin Williams, hands down, his most underrated performance. Robin Williams, of course, he did pass away last decade, but this is one of his best performances, and this is one of his most underrated performances. He's great as the genie. He's great in Jumanji. He's great as Mrs. Doubtfire. But I think people don't give him enough credit as a bad guy with this movie and 1 Hour Photo, because he is damn good as the bad guy. Walter Finch. He just, the way his performance plays out is just, he is, when they were cutting this movie along, his performance is basically flawless. He puts a lot into this character. He's not a very, he found something within himself as watching this movie. His part, this is a bit underrated of a character that he plays, because his performance is very amazingly well done. It's very subtle. It's very villainous. So he does get to play out the villain part as good as you want him to. But he doesn't go around shooting people, stabbing people to death. He just plays this game of cat and mouse with Al Pacino. And their conversations and their interaction scenes together are very well done. But also, Hilary Swank is another great actor. You have 3 Oscar winners in this movie: Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank. And George Clooney also produced it. So when it comes to Hilary Swank's performance as Detective Ellie, I think she does a great job as well. Some people say she's not a great actress. She is a great actress. $1 Million Baby, Boys Don't Cry, Freedom Riders, this movie. The next Karate Kid was not her fault. We all gotta start somewhere. But in terms of Hilary Swank's performance, all the performances in this movie are great from those 3. You just also have the rest of the cast, like a very young Katharine Isabelle and Crystal Lowe and Nicky, Katt, and Maura and Donovan. So all the performances, even Paula, who played Jason's mother in Freddy vs. Jason. So it was good to see Katharine Isabelle and Paula before Freddy vs. Jason in 2003. And everyone in this movie does a great job. Chris Nolan's direction, again, solid direction. Great cinematography from his cinematographer, Wally Professor. This movie's edited very well. You're never bored. You're never once getting ready to doze off. And the music by David Julian, once again, is very good. It's very amazingly composed music. Probably one of the more underrated scores from David Julian of the 3 movies that he's worked on with Chris Nolan. Well, 4, I think. But following the incredible music work off of Memento, he carries his music in Insomnia to such a great degree, and I'm telling you, it's a great soundtrack. If you can go on YouTube and listen to the soundtrack itself, and you would not be bored by it. And also, I do like the fact that George Clooney actually produced this movie. Some problems, I will say that there is a bit in this movie where the middle portion of the movie, it was just a tiny bit draggy. It wasn't bored. It wasn't like I was ready to shut the movie off or nothing, because I was still intrigued 100%. That's all you got. That's all Nolan loves to do. 100%. I like to sit there intrigued and take this in. And also, you can see that there are some decisions made in the story They're not the greatest, but I will say that, once again, it does a great job at doing what the movie sets out to do. So with that being said, I do have to give this movie some credit for doing what it was supposed to do. And it just knew what it wanted to do. So, all in all, Insomnia is this is Nolan's most overshadowed film, and it also proves that even the most overshadowed film in a filmmaker's career can either be his best or his weakest. This is actually pretty high in my ranking, and you'll see where this is high in my ranking when Tenet comes out and I review that. So, all in all, Insomnia is a great film with a great performance from Al Pacino, a great villainous performance from Robert Williams, great direction, great writing, great technical aspects, and just everything that Nolan throws with his movies. And it does a great job at taking an already Norwegian film with the same name and re-examining it and making it into its own. So with that being said, I'm gonna give the movie Insomnia a better than Vampire Academy. So that was my review of Insomnia. Tell me in the comment section down below, what did you think of Insomnia? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or are you somewhere in the middle? If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell to get notified when new videos are up, because you're not going to get every single notification. So with that, all in all, you guys keep it cool, join the epitastiness, and that is all the Christopher Nolan movie reviews in the can. Bye.